Liberty Nation with Tim Donner.
It was palpable, the change that occurred overnight on November 8th, 2016. Not because it was my birthday, it was, but because, of course, you couldn't imagine much more of a change than Barack Obama being replaced by Donald Trump in the White House, or more of a seismic shock to the body politic than this bombastic billionaire securing the highest office in the land against all odds. The morning of the election, the New York Times mirrored most all of the other media outlets in giving Hillary Clinton an 85% likelihood of victory. Trump, 15%. There's no denying that this stunning upset not only changed the country overnight, much like when Ronald Reagan took over from Jimmy Carter, but at least Reagan you could see coming. He'd been governor of the nation's largest state. But like when Reagan was elected, Trump's victory froze the left in place, in a state of shock, disbelief, denial, that first of the famous 5 stages of grief, which they have yet to shake. Witness their 3-year religious crusade, and that's what it is, to deny the legitimacy of the 2016 election, the very thing they warned us that Trump would do if he lost. And so, paralyzed by their own denial of the reality of that never-to-be-forgotten November 8th, Democrats have divided into 2 camps. The ones who want to return to the world of November 7th, 2016, and the ones who want to exploit the outrage and resistance unleashed on November 9th, 2016, with a revolutionary manifesto, while Trump, all the while, is living in a November 8th world, a world where the American people have registered their disgust with the ruling class and kicked the bums out in favor of a riverboat gamble on the most unconventional and controversial candidate ever to come down the proverbial pike. Now, what exactly do I mean by a November 7th or November 9th world? Well, think of what happened after 9/11, 19 years ago. Some people immediately adjusted to the September 12th world that emerged from America's dark night of the soul. Others preferred to live with the memories of September 10th and the world that was. A total of 70,000 votes separated Trump from Hillary in the 3 states which famously swung the election: Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. 3 states the Democrats had owned all the way back to the 1980s. A party in control of its faculties could have immediately seen the message from the people who abandoned them, like in the 200 counties, yes, 200, that voted for Obama twice and then for Trump. They could have said, okay, message received. We get it. We paid no attention to you. We abandoned your cause. We took you for granted, but we won't do it again. You're our voters, and we will win you back. They could have done a mea culpa, fallen on their swords, and admitted to understanding the desperation of people so frustrated and angry at the discredited political establishment that they were willing to roll the dice on a total wild card full of sound and fury, which may or may not have signified nothing other than campaign rhetoric. Of course, that's not what happened. Trump has fulfilled or advanced the ball on almost every campaign promise and has delivered dramatic reforms. But the voters had no way to know whether he would or wouldn't when they voted. The guy had never even held political office, and he was running for the highest office in the land, running for leader of the free world. Talk about rolling the dice. That's how thoroughly dissatisfied the voters were. But instead of trying to come clean and win back the people who'd voted for them for years, the Democrats buried their head in the sand, did everything in their power to overturn the will of the voters and discard the results of the election. And we see the wreckage of that in their campaign to try and get rid of Trump the old-fashioned way, through the ballot box. We have the poster child for a return to the world of November 7th, 2016, Joe Biden. His campaign, now on life support, barely clinging to life, waxes nostalgic day after day for the good old days of the Obama administration, when we were at one with the world. He and his fellow swamp dwellers were large and in charge. The globalist vision was advancing. Political correctness went largely unchallenged by those in power, and a stagnant economy was the new norm. The result of Joe Biden's campaign, a fourth-place finish in Iowa, fifth place in New Hampshire. The dogs just won't eat the November 7th dog food. Then you've got the November 9th crowd, the ones like Bernie Sanders, so incensed by Trump's victory that they believe the answer to this quintessentially capitalist, racist, misogynist, deplorable president is to go to the opposite extreme as they see it: socialism, revolution, scrapping the economy and starting all over. They want government-run health care, the end of private insurance, open borders, free health care for illegal immigrants, and the big kahuna, the Green New Deal, which was take us back to the dark ages, pre-industrial revolution. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the people want what they actually voted for on November 8, 2016, or they wouldn't have elected Trump any more than they elected Obama twice. They don't want the world of November 7th, the world gone by, or November 9th, when denial and resistance came to define the Democratic Party. The immortal words of that washed-up boxer turned longshoreman from the classic movie On the Waterfront come immediately to mind when contemplating the fate of the 2020 Democrats. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am.